Coming at you live from DNHQ in beautiful South Pasadena, California. This is the Blue Heaven Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen and everyone in the stream, you're now home with Dodgers Nation and Jim Beam. Make sure you drink responsibly. What is going on, folks? My name is Clint. You can find me as Real FRG on Twitter and Instagram. That guy is the man who does way too many things, and we both decided to not wear polos today. Doug McCain, DMac_LA, the legend of Los Angeles. How you doing, guy?
What's up, my man, Clint? Hey, a pretty good week. Taking 2 out of 3 from San Diego. Sweeping the Philadelphia Phillies. They really dominated the last 2 NLCS opponents. So really excited about some of these developments. But hey, we got a lot to get into on this show. A big week ahead for your Los Angeles Dodgers.
It is a jam-packed Blue Heaven for you an hour earlier. So make sure you guys put this, I think people need to, they need to watch this on break, right? Isn't that how it works? Just take your break, tell your boss.
Got to plan it out.
I'm watching Blue Heaven. And also let us know where you're representing Dodgers Nation today, this afternoon, tonight, depending on where you're at. Drop them area codes in the chat. We want to know where y'all are watching the show tonight. Yes, we are talking about the Dodgers taking care of business in San Diego. We got some good, bad, and ugly from the series. Not too much to dive into there. If you guys want some good updates or thoughts on the Padres series, check out the post-game show. It's up in all the spots. You should be watching it. So
got a little double dose Saturday and Sunday.
He went hard in the paint, but not good enough to do Friday.
Told you it's going to be Friday. And also, I cherry pick. I just do the wins, right, Clint?
Yeah. That's what
the streets are saying sometimes.
I was told you only do losses.
Yeah. So you never know what these fans out there.
Crazy guys. Shout out Greg Bergman back in the day. We got some other quick updates. We're going to talk about every little thing going on with the Dodgers. Bringing back Let 'Em Play or DFA. This is the bench edition, so we're going to cheat a little bit on that. I'm announcing the giveaway winner for our $50 gift credit to GearUp.LA and a whole lot more. Plus, we're looking ahead to this series with the Brew Crew. So let's just jump right in to the comments. Dan Ross on YouTube says this is the first time he's attended one of these live streams. So thank you for hanging out with us, Dan.
Welcome, Dan.
Appreciate you.
Hit that notification bell.
Johnny Be Good _official says Dodgers going to win 100-1 tonight in Milwaukee.
That'd be a record. That'd be without having to look it up. I would love to win by 99 to get against this Brewers team, and then also you hurt the trade value of some of their players who I would like to see in Dodger Blues. I'd be fine with that. We got Johnny Be Good. Let's go Dodgers. Michael Carrillo wants to get into the trade talk, hopefully. We'll have to tell him about what our friend Buster Olney had to say about that. You might not like what you hear. I know I didn't, about the possible trade market that isn't going to be as developing as we had hoped. But, hey, it's still a long season. We got Joe Mama says, what's up, fellas? What's up, Joe Mama? Deborah Young wants a win tonight. Mark Roca says, hello. We got Orlando. Let's go early D-Day today. Yeah, we got an early start in Milwaukee, a 4:10 first pitch, I believe.
4:40.
A 4:40, so 4:40 today. We got Dan Ross, the first time I've attended. Oh, so I'm still, you've already read these, okay.
Axel's listening from work. Axel Jimenez, thank you for doing it the smart way. Joe Mama is just off work to check out the live. Jim Cole says, Thompson must go. Need a lefty masher below the Mendoza line career. Well below the Mendoza line in his career versus lefties. Dodgers Chloe in the stream checking in from La Palma. We got Deborah Young in Florida. I did not know Deborah was in Florida, so that's good to know. Juan Ramirez, Las Vegas, representing Blue Heaven at work. Appreciate you guys. Scott Strong, you guys collabing with the Hogwatch. What is Hogwatch?
The Hogwatch, that's our friend Borna.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be in town this week. He was hitting me up. He wants to come roll through. Out. Yeah, we'll see what we can do. Borna, he brings that energy. He was
about to say he brings that noise.
He brings the noise.
He was down yesterday, and a lot of Padres fans were too. So yeah, I mean,
it should be.
It'd be a good time to bring out. Look, if they had gotten swept, I might not want to talk to someone from the Padres universe. But hey, we'll see how it goes. We'll look into that.
Brian's checking in from Colorado. That is 80538. If you guys are looking for the mailing zip code there, that fool Neil Casamoto checking in 808 Honolulu, Hawaii. Go Dodgers. Thank you for hanging out even earlier than 3 p.m. for Neil. Breaking news, guys. Just saying. We got Windy City in here. Javier Rios wants the Dodgers to get rid of Trash Thompson. That actually kind of works. Trash Thompson. Anyways, Oscar 926. We got A couple of just random names. Jeff Garza, 805. Jack checking in from Indio. Terry, 310 in the house. Oscar, as in El Paso, Texas. We got a lot of people in here. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Maybe people like the earlier. I don't know.
I think they do. I think they like this show no matter what time of day it comes. It could be at 6 in the morning. But I do think you're at work at this point. It's like, are you really being productive? You're probably going to want to tune in the Blue Heaven podcast,
it's
right?
After lunch. Now you guys are productive. Put this on your time card. You watched the Blue Haven show. I'm going to take a sip, and then I'm going to address that other camera. Actually, I'm not yet, because I'm honestly, I need the pick-me-up. I'm going to take a little napski, if you don't mind.
You look like you use some Z's in there for sure. And if you need some Z's, go shout out our friends over at Manta Sleep. Manta Sleep, they make the world's best sleep masks and sleep accessories. Everything they do is to enable better lives through better sleep. They work relentlessly to improve and optimize sleep so that you can have the energy to live your best life. Check out mantasleep.com today so you can sleep better anywhere, anytime. Get your Manta mask today. Use the code DN2023. So, yeah, now the show really starts for me once we get that read out. And our friends over at Manta Sleep, I have been sleeping like a baby. I always sleep better when you take 2 out of 3 from the Padres, the Padres, San Diego, and you add the Manta Sleep, and I'm feeling more refreshed than ever. How you feeling under that mask, Clint?
I feel good. I feel real good. I feel like I could get more sleep, more Z's, and be more productive. But guess what? I'm going to address the camera, and I'm going to tell you guys, let's talk about that series that went down in San Diego. The Dodgers take care of business against the Padres. They do what they're supposed to do. They did exactly just about to a T what I said. The Dodgers are going to win one or win 2. They're going to lose 1. They're going to lose the Kershaw start. I assumed Kershaw would give up 2 home runs to Manny Machado. Instead, it was Nando, who is not a superstar, apparently, according to our friend Eduardo Perez. But they did. They tuned out the noise. There was a lot of added BS by the Padres, so kudos to them. It was an enjoyable series. I had fun watching it. The Sunday game was heart attack central at different points. It was a frustrating game, and that kind of made us want to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly from this series. And, people already know a lot of your thoughts, having done 2 post-game shows, so make sure you guys check that out, youtube.com/DodgersNation But I think one of the things we can happily establish with the Sunday game is don't quit on this team, because this team isn't going to quit on you. I mean, it was a bad game up and down for the most part of 4 innings, and then the Dodgers started kind of figuring it out, actually catching some baseballs in the glove, actually hitting the baseball with the bat. They put up a run point, and then they decide to go ahead and keep the game at 2-1 for most of the game. Shout out to Julio. Shout out to Victor Gonzalez. Caleb Ferguson was nasty in the 9th, and getting ahead of ourselves in the 10th inning. Evan Phillips, Filthy Phil, doing his job. I forget who else pitched in the game. Oh, also Yency. Yency did some damn good work in that game as well, looking like he's got it figured out. But the fact that they were able to keep it there after that hideous first inning where, not only do you have, one boot that, whatever, the Mookie Betts one is the one that really, it's like, Mookie, really? You're going to just straight up clank a ball? It was an impressive comeback all around. And again, it shows good. Don't quit on the offense. Don't quit on the team.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely sums it up perfectly, is that they took 2 out of 3 from a team that had all this hype surrounding them with, you got this top 1 through 4 of this lineup with Fernando Tatis Jr. back, and since he had been back, they've been averaging over 5 runs per game. The Dodgers, they hold them to 5 runs in game 1, 2 runs in game 2, and 2 games in game 3, and their offense, for the most part, they didn't show up. For this series, they hit 137. They were 3 for 24 with runners in scoring position. They struggled the entire series, and that's coming off that Phillies series where they were 19 for 41 with runners in scoring position. So what it told me is that this team can find a way to win, and they can win in a multitude of different ways. When the bats show up and they go crazy like they did against the Phillies, you can do that. When they show up against the Padres, you can do that as well. But to me, the most impressive development this weekend is the rise of this bullpen. You mentioned Evan Phillips. He is really settling into this closer's role. He made light work at the top of that Padres lineup. Yency Almonte, he put together his 2 really, really nice appearances. The way he's using that sweeper, coming off that sinker, you're talking about tight sweeper, 14 miles per hour of differential right there. And also think Victor Gonzalez continues to produce. This bullpen as a whole, they're looking so much better, and they kept him in that game. Anytime you're scoring runs late in games, you always have to credit that bullpen because you keep him into that game. You allow Mookie Betts, when this team is down to their last out, going up against Josh Hader, gets his hands in there, ties the game, and then the youth movement takes over. Michael Busch in the top of the 10th, he gets the game-tying single. Then James Outman, he goes deep, he hits a bomb. So, yeah, I love to see the team just fight back and just not accepting losing in any way. And I think it was a major statement because it wasn't just the Phillies and the Padres. It was the 2 teams that when the Dodgers were at home sitting on the couch, they watched those two teams face off in the NLCS, and I think they wanted to make a statement, and I think they did just that.
The other factor of it, and let's bring the comments in on this one. We'll call it the bad. I don't want to get too much into this, but all of the BS around the crying Kershaw meme, which honestly, thank you Padres for putting that up because it gave us something to talk about all throughout the weekend on the websites. But that happening, the Mookie sign, eating corn the long way. How do you eat your corn, by the way?
Just kind of like like the cash register kind, you know. I go pretty hard. A lot of butter, like a salt. I'm a big corn on the cob guy.
I was very confused by the sound effects at first.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I guess that's how
I love corn on the cob.
Hey, now we've all learned together how Doug eats his corn.
And that was terrible. I mean,
I'm going to actually, this is pretty early on the show, but I'm going to call this the Hornito shot taker.
Oh, we got a shot taker.
Wow.
Let's go.
Coming out of the gate strong.
You guys were just talking about Josh Hader, and then I don't love the name, but Terry Hesticles.
Terry Hesticles
said, more like Josh Failure.
Oh, I get it. Because
that works.
It's like a sort of play on words.
They were calling him something different on the postgame show, and I won't say it. Maybe I'll tell you after the show. But they were going in on Josh
Failure.
Hader, all the Haterades out there. But yeah, I mean,
Hornito shot taker of the night. Thank you, Terry, Mr. Hesticles, or Ms. Hesticles, if you will. Appreciate you, guys. Make sure you drink responsibly. But
please drink responsibly. Yeah, I think that absolutely lit a fire under this team after what they saw, that despicable display, that classless move by this Padres organization.
Really,
and I just want to point out, 2 games after the first game, they're 0-2. They're 0-2 since the case of the Kershaw. It's the Clayton Kershaw to this Padres organization. And I think it just shows where the Padres are at right now as an organization. They're so desperate to try to be relevant, and the Dodgers really make them relevant. They have for the past decade or so. And if you're Clayton Kershaw, I just love the way he handled it. I love when he said, hey, you got to pitch better, something like that. But I think in his heart of hearts, he realized that was Busch League. If you look at Clayton Kershaw, he's won 11 division titles. The Padres, as an entire franchise, have 5. He has 3 pennants. They have 2. He has a World Series. So the Padres got to see what it was like to have a World Series champion on their Jumbotron and really kind of show them what a World Series winner is like. And look, what I always say about the San Diego Padres, too, is they care more about the Dodgers losing than they do about them winning. If they could trade off the Dodgers losing this year for like 20 San Diego Padres World Series, I think they would consider just the World Series loss for the Dodgers. I mean, when have you ever heard a "Let's Go Padres" chant? Has anyone? Never. It's only one chant. They could be playing the Phillies or the Astros or the Giants, and they chant "Beat LA." Beat LA. So they pretty much exemplified the concept of rent-free. It was great to see the Dodgers take 2 of 3 from the Padres.
Hey, you know what? The Padres have they had a future Hall of Famer on their scoreboard there, and also 2. Got a note: 2 of the Padres' retired jersey numbers are Dodgers, with number 6 and number 42. So that's all I'm going to say on the Padre thing. You know, eat your corn however you want, kids. You do you, boo.
The Padres are Dylan Brooks, and the Dodgers are LeBron James. Okay,
so you find some comments in there, and Cody, I'm going to ask you: do you think the Dodgers retaliate in any way? Do you think anything happens at Dodger Stadium this weekend?
No, you just said it. Doug just said it was a classless act by the Padres. The Dodgers are a class organization. They're not going to stoop to that level of lowness and plus the Dodgers, they're smart, right? They're all tactical. They're never gonna like even the Padres, even the players. If I'm the Padres, I'm the players, and I'm like the organization. I'm looking at that video board going like, who the hell designed that? Like that is because you hear.
It was a fan. It was something they took from Twitter. So,
okay.
So the one fan, I forgot I think it was a girl's name. She said or they said it was like their most proud moment in their life was getting that up there. But also like whoever made the decision to post that, it's just not. It's not a good look.
It's just like you listen to the players. Even the players, they're like, yo, the Dodgers are a class organization. Clayton Kershaw, he's a legend. Like, why would you? What's the point of stooping to that point where you're gonna wake up the dragon? It doesn't make any sense. Like, and the
you
Dodgers
tried to slay the dragon. Dragon's back.
Yeah, like it doesn't make the Dodgers
again.
would never do that at all. Like it's
that's one of the things
way beyond
Doc
them.
said too. It's like imagine the Dodgers putting something up about Tony Gwynn or whatever, putting something on the old Diamond Vision about Tony Gwynn.
That's what I said after the post game show. I said, imagine if the Dodgers did that to Tony Gwynn or Trevor Hoffman. They would not do that.
That's it.
And you look, I mean, you can dive in. Greg Vaughn. I mean, no, Kevin Brown, Jake Peavy. But look, a 1.97 ERA in 329 innings against the Padres. Clayton Kershaw has owned San Diego. So you can see why they're upset and they thought they were trying to be funny. And I think the baseball world's kind of reacted like, hey, you don't disrespect legends like that. I've had so many Padres fans over the weekend. You have no idea. Slipping into the DMs, commenting on my posts. One guy said, hey, Doug, I have to give you a lot of credit. Not a lot of guys would post a video of themselves crying on the internet because they were saying I was crying and I was triggered. You're damn right I was triggered, okay? You know I'm a devout Christian, believe in the Church of Christianity.
Let him know.
Yeah, I thought it was absolutely Busch League. And I think that this Padres team, this is going to be one thing we're going to talk about when the Dodgers do win this division. Because, look, everyone said it was crazy. D-Mac, why are you saying 97 wins for the Dodgers? If you look where they're at right now, they're right on pace to win 96 or 97 games. Starting to feel a little better about that prediction. So, yeah, I think I am a little overprotective when it comes to Clayton Kershaw. But I think in this case, you just don't mess with Clint. And we know it just wasn't even that creative or that funny. I mean, it wasn't like it was like awesome or anything like that.
The corn thing was funny.
Yeah.
But that wasn't even the organization. That was somebody like I love the idea, and this is going on longer than I wanted, but I love the idea of somebody like staying up till 1 a.m.
Yeah.
With all their markers, glass of wine, bottle of wine, taking the time to make that sign, folding it up real nice and neat, and stuffing it somewhere in their bag so it wouldn't get noticed. I mean, they probably let anything in down there at Petco Park. I'm just saying, but
it's a nice park.
We'd
love to go one day, but still,
I'd love to see more of their own homegrown players have retired numbers there. But that's just me.
It's Clayton Kershaw. Like how?
Yeah,
like,
no, the Kershaw thing is dumb.
Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, what they should do, the Dodgers, they should do something to honor Tony Gwynn and some of the Padres greats. That's what they should do in the first game back to try to show them.
Outclass them. That'd be funny. That'd be funny. That's actually
gets down.
do like a
have a Tony Gwynn bobblehead night.
That's so cool. That would be
Show
like the ultimate.
do.
Yeah, that's like the ultimate big
Dodgers.
right
If you guys are listening. Remember.
But fans, you're totally free to throw blown up syringes on the field towards Fernando Tatis Jr. No, I'm just playing. Don't do that. Don't stoop to their level.
It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be pretty bad right here. There's not much. I thought there would be more folks in here. Mark says the baseball gods willed last night win after the Padres bashing of Kershaw. The other fishing channel. There we go. Thanks for hanging out with us. Says don't poke the bear, just like you said. And Raymond Rosas says, let's face it, the Padres are just MLB's version of the Clippers.
I mean, from the same city.
Get wrecked. Just saying. All right.
Shout out the Chargers.
One last thing. So we got good, we got bad, now we got ugly. Defense wasn't that great. Dodgers defense was not that great this weekend, especially on Sunday. You hate to see that in a national game, an ESPN game. Anything concerning for you with that, or is it just one of those it is what it is?
Nothing too concerning because the guys that did not make those plays like Mookie Betts and James Outman, we know they're capable defenders. When Mookie jumped up for that, I was having flashbacks of the 2020 NLCS against the Braves because we saw him make those jump catches. He won't admit to it, but we know the shadows, they can affect defenders in that situation. But it was in his glove and it popped out. You saw he was judging the wall, had his hand right there when he was on the warning track. And James Outman, that to me is just a rookie mistake in every sense of the word, and he'll learn from that. I mean, he takes a few steps back when he should have been charging it, but the reality is all those balls hit Dodgers defenders' gloves, and Julio Urias was still able to minimize the damage damage, and he threw extra pitches because of it. Julio, he does have this knack for showing his frustration out there on the mound. I definitely want to see a little less from that. And then also, I mean, if you saw the play later in the game with Julio Urias, if you want to talk about defense, on the Ha-Seong Kim little comebacker there, where he feels it and he just kind of flings it casually to first. And thank God Freddie Freeman's like 6'50", right? Thankfully he's tall enough to catch that. So I mean, he could have made a better play. And also the hot shot to Miguel Vargas, that was pretty hot off the bat. But just in general, not a lot of great defense. I will say David Peralta, we're going to talk about his offense, did make a nice play covering a lot of ground in left field to get to a ball. But yeah, I mean, James Allman told us on the show that one of the big adjustments is you can play defense at an elite level in the minor league level, but when you get to the show, you have to adjust to the stadiums. We know it's a very cavernous, it's an extra level. It's different playing out in Petco Park. So he's going to be fine. But yeah, the defense, they were less than stellar. That's not something that was good.
Different start times too. A 5 o'clock start on 4 o'clock, 4:08 start on Sunday. That definitely contributed something, even though Mookie didn't say it was anything about not seeing the ball or whatever. It definitely played a factor. They clanked it, but yeah, I agree. Nothing too crazy to worry about. So let's move on. We got more Padres to talk about on Friday, so we'll do a Friday show. Let's get into some quick. That's what's in. Thank you. Quick updates. This is going to be presented by GearUp.LA. Check out the Above Los Angeles collaboration with Josh Furman for some incredible artwork for your home or office just in time for Mother's Day. Maybe not in time for Mother's Day anymore, but it will be in time for Father's Day because that's just around the corner. And if you are a local artist or no one that might want to work with us, have them reach out to Dodgers Nation. But speaking of GearUp.LA, we got to announce the winner. We have the winner of the $50 gift credit to GearUp.LA, which is a website. I know .LA seems weird. Let's just imagine it's like .com. So .LA, GearUp.LA, and you guys can go check out stuff there. But the winner of the sweet $50 gift credit is Jonathan Brault from Hawaii. Wins that big time money. I think it might be upwards of 3 shirts if you play your cards right. So Jonathan, we will be reaching out to you. And you better email us when we email you, or else
.LA.
Doug will cry. .LA. All right, let's get into some quick updates. I saw a comment earlier in the stream talking about JD Martinez. It's an interesting case because they keep pushing him back. Initially, he was going to be activated probably for the San Diego series on Friday. Didn't happen. They said maybe in Milwaukee on Monday or Tuesday. Instead, he is now going on a not minor league rehab assignment. He's going to Arizona to hit off pitchers at Camelback Ranch. And if all goes according to plan, he will be rejoining the team in LA at Dodger Stadium for the start of that Friday series. So with that, we'll get into some roster, how that affects the roster in a second. Another one, Jimmy Nelson, who I'm sure folks saw a couple weeks ago, started a minor league rehab assignment. He actually went down to AAA the same day Bobby Miller made his season debut after the slow play on the shoulder. Jimmy Nelson had one appearance, tossed a scoreless inning, and I reached out to the AAA PR guy, Alex Friedman. Alex told me that he has no idea what happened, but he went back to Arizona. Does not sound good for Jimmy Nelson, old Stimmy Nelson. I don't know if we see anything out of that guy this year, so I'm wondering if we do get a more substantial update from Dave Roberts at some point, because we haven't had a bulk injury update from Dave for a while. So that's something to kind of have in the back of your mind, but don't expect much out of Jimmy Nelson this year. And a shout, because we did, I wouldn't say we trashed him, but we talked about Alex Vesia on Friday. Nice rebound yesterday, tossed a scoreless inning. He was touching 94 to 96 with the fastball. Looked like he had a lot more conviction according to reports. So maybe the rumors of the demise of Alex Vesia are untrue.
Yeah, everyone thought he was cooked. Everyone thought he was done, but you already saw an uptick in his velocity, average almost 95 miles per hour. Like you said, he was touching 96. And also, too, I think just he can take a deep breath. He can go out there and work and focus on those mechanics. And I think we're going to see a repeat of what we saw last season, where he struggled early on, and then he came back, refined those mechanics, and was a weapon down the stretch. Now, the good thing is there's some competition now, because Victor Gonzalez, he's looked phenomenal. Caleb Ferguson, he's looked really good too. So Alex Vesey is going to have to earn his spot back in this Dodgers bullpen. I think that's only going to help him. But hey, his stuff, you want to get the late life back. And yeah, it was definitely very encouraging to see the appearance that he had, a scoreless inning down there in OKC. So I'm feeling good about that.
And don't sleep on Justin Brule, who's looked real good this year.
Brule's been really good too. You're right.
This year. Hey guys, it's another read. So I'm going to do that real quick for you. Because MLB is back. We're in full swing now with your Major League Baseball season, and our friends at MyBookie are your one-stop shop for all your betting needs, as you can hear from this paper. With a wide range of betting options, including money lines, run lines, totals, and futures, MyBookie gives you plenty of ways to bet on your favorite teams and players. If we could, we would find a way to have you bet on Doug, but we can't. But we will internally. Send us your bets. You can also take advantage of the brand new MyBookie Money Bag, which gives you the chance to secure a bet on your favorite team or player at insanely boosted odds. So sign up today at MyBookie and use promo code DodgersNation to secure a first deposit bonus of up to $1,000. It's simple. Deposit $200. You're going to play with $300 instantly. Again, use that promo code DodgersNation. That's how they know we sent you, and then we can keep getting money from them to talk about it. So if you're a baseball fan looking to add even more excitement to the new season, look no further than MyBookie. Sign up now and get ready to experience the thrill of baseball betting like never before. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. And this read is hurting. Got to print a new one because it's so hot.
It's a hot read.
It's a hot read.
We need to print a new paper.
I probably need to print a new one. I mean,
Poor paper.
that's paper that comes out of my salary and my laser printer. And you know how printers are. It's like, you haven't used me in 2 weeks. I'm all out of cyan and magenta. You guys, I'm a printer. You have no idea how much cyan and magenta I use when I'm not in use.
That's some good stuff. Ink cartridges.
It's a whole bit there. Don't even get me started.
Welcome to PrinterNation.com.
Don't even get me started. PrinterNation.com. Here, you see the latest. You see the latest HP power jet. What, you got something for me? Something
I
big?
got a super chat. So we have Michael Carrillo with $5.
Michael.
Thanks, Michael. Can we trade for the Reds' Nick Senzel or TJ Friedl?
Friedel.
Friedel? Is that how you say it? That's Friedel, right?
Yeah.
They
TJ
hit
Friedel.
lefties really well and are cheap and shouldn't cost too much to trade for.
Well, the Reds are perpetually bad. TJ Friedel would be a fun story. Mookie got his first career home run back from a fan at Great American Ballpark.
Yeah, no, both those guys definitely could help this team. Senzel's another guy, has some pop, plays the outfield, plays some infield as well, plays some second base, I think he plays first base, so that's not going to happen. But yeah, he does have some positional versatility. He does rake against lefties, and they're going to need that. I think you'll see them kind of allow the market to emerge a little more and try to get a guy that doesn't have a lot of arbitration years left, a guy that does really have one more year on his contract. We'll see who those guys are. But yeah, we've kind of thought about kind of poaching the Reds for years now. I mean last
they
year
have a couple of times. Over the
yeah,
last
they
few,
absolutely have for a couple of times. Last year,
decade.
there were thoughts that maybe they go after Brandon Drury, like he was going to be someone that they could have gone after. But yeah, Nick Senzel is definitely a guy that can help them out. And the Reds, they're pretty much perpetually shopping their players, and for the right price, they can be had. And yeah, he's been an absolute monster against lefties this season, a 1331 OPS in 23 plate appearances. A really small sample size, but he's a guy
better than Trace Thompson.
that I think, Clint, you
Respectfully.
might be better against lefties against Trace. He has a 69 giggity batting average against southpaws so far this season. But yeah, that is going to be an area where they're going to have to address. I mean, if you're going to add a bat, it's going to be someone that you can trust against lefties. I know if you want to go crazy big, I mean, the Orioles, they were interested in listening offers for Cedric Mullins, but only problem is he has 3 arbitration years left. I think he has like a close to 1,000 OPS against lefties. He can hit lefties great on defense. But I think after talking to Buster Only, what really stood out to me is Buster talked about how, look, they want to maintain that payroll flex.
Sir? Oh.
Look.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, my mic went out. They want to maintain that payroll flexibility the best way they can. That's why you signed JD Martinez. That's why you signed David Peralta, because you don't want to do anything that might compromise your flexibility to go after an Ohtani in the offseason. So if they truly believe in this team and it really presents itself as an area of weakness, maybe they do go to the trade market, and Senzel is a name that, yeah, he's pretty interesting, but I want to see a larger sample size before I part ways with some prospects for him.
and I wanted to quickly touch on the idea of Mullins or any sort of trade with Baltimore, because I have seen that thrown around. You'll see that just about every other, column from people at Bleacher Report, like, oh, this Jorge Mateo available. Look, the Baltimore Orioles are going to have a hard time selling a trade when they're like in the hunt for something. They had a decent year last year. They're in second place in the AL East right now. They can't trade away from a good a good team. So that's another one of the issues with the expanded postseason, is there are going to be far fewer trade partners out there. But we'll get more into that in a second.
And that division's crazy.
Cody's got more.
We got another super chat. We have Lori O with 1999. She says, Trace Woof. Why haven't they played Busch regularly? Why do you guys think he wasn't DHing with JD out? Love you guys.
Ooh, you want that
Love
one?
you too, Lori.
Yeah,
Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Michael, as well.
I mean, my whole theory is, well, one, you want to respect kind of the pecking order, and they want to basically see the entire Trace Thompson experience until they basically exhausted every opportunity. And then they can go to Trace and say, look, we gave you every opportunity to succeed. He realized that if he doesn't produce, they are going to show him the door. And I think
we passed that. We've shown you, given you every opportunity point.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's definitely there. He's on borrowed time at this point, if we're just being completely honest. And when it comes to Michael Busch, you saw he can give you a competitive big league at bat. And even the at bat where he struck out yesterday in the 8th inning, he was seeing a lot of pitches, and that's what he does. And I think that this team is going to value hitters like Michael Busch. They can get their bat on the ball. With Trace Thompson, he just does not look like a big league hitter at this stage of his career. And yes, he's hitting 69 against lefties this season. And since April 1st, since that 3 home run game, he has an 87 batting average, a 374 OPS, a 16 WRC plus, and he's striking out 48.1% of the time. Hasn't had a hit since April 17th. So, yeah, I mean, that is someone that does not look like a big league hitter. So, to answer your question, I think this organization trusts Trace. They're hoping that he can get out of this season-long funk that he's in. But Michael Busch, I think, especially when you consider the reverse splits of Trace Thompson, does make a lot of sense. But I think the issue with Michael Busch, though, is they just haven't developed him in the outfield. I mean, period, point blank. Yeah. And in the infield, we know they're going Miguel Vargas. And at third base, you're going with Max Muncy. But with that DH spot out, I mean, I think you lose some of that flexibility when JD returns. But, I mean, yeah, I think it's going to be a tough sledding for Trace.
Yeah, the Trace, everybody knows where I stand. We're going to get on that in a second with the upcoming segment. But with Michael Busch, his biggest issue is that he's a left-handed batter. He just does not fit in what this lineup needs. I mean, he went almost a week without an at-bat. It's now been a week between starts where he is starting today at third base in Milwaukee. But he doesn't fit in their plans, and they've made that painfully aware, even if they're telling him otherwise. Dave has told him, like, you've earned this. You deserve better in so many words, and I hope he is one of the guys who gets traded because he doesn't deserve to be sitting on the big league bench.
Yeah, I'm just kind of sick and tired of them benching him against righties, though. I mean, of course, we know.
Again, he just doesn't fit, and you also said it, too. It's part of the pecking order. Who are you going to sit? And you also have invested money and time into somebody like Miggy Rowe. JD's going to be back this weekend, they say. You already mentioned the Trace Thompson thing, trying to get the most out of him or give him the most opportunity to figure it out. And Trace can hit against right-handed pitching, but that's not his role. That's not his job here.
Yeah, and also, too, if you allow him to continue that, maybe you say, oh, he's having success like he did last year. That's just kind of going to prolong the problem and delay the inevitable. Yeah. But also, how about this theory? Maybe you don't want to have Michael Busch continue to have big league at-bats to maybe hurt his trade value. You've already seen what he can do. You see him get a couple of base hits. You can sell him on that because we know when it comes to big league hitters, especially rookies, a slump is inevitable. Just ask Miguel Vargas at the beginning of the year. Just ask James Outman over the past 2 weeks before he was able to get it going. So I definitely think there is some of that. But, yeah, I think the big issue just doesn't have the positional versatility, like you said, and he's a left-handed hitter.
Yep. So I guess we kind of already cheated a little bit, and we're going to cheat some more here. Guys, it's time for Let 'Em Play or DFA. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Let 'em play.
This is real happy music for kind of a dickish segment. But
let him play.
or DFA. It's very simple progress or idea concept for a segment here. Usually we take one dude and we kind of figure out it's guy who's probably at the bottom of the roster and somebody that's not performing very well, and we decide whether or not we're going to let him work through it or get rid of his ass. In this case, again, we're cheating a bit. We're going with the entire bench. We're going to break it down a little bit first, and then we'll just talk around this together as a family. Austin Barnes is not that great at the plate, but he's Austin Barnes. He's not going anywhere. Sorry, Hunter Fiducia truthers. It's just not going to happen unless he gets hurt. Michael Busch, we already talked about him as the hero on Sunday, but hadn't gotten an at-bat in a week, and is going to be the guy who gets optioned when JD is back. So he's one of the, I'd say, he has one of the guys with the better potential off the bench, but they don't look at him as really an option. So that one's sort of in flux. He's not going to be there. Hayward's been good, but he's kind of more of a starter now against right-handed pitching, and so you're going to see most of the time. But we got to talk about there's three guys. It's Miguel Rojas, who's been. Well, I wrote it initially when him and I were talking about what we're talking about today. I said Miggy Rose, Dookie. He's also battled through some problems, but he's not good right now. Trace, again, we all know. And David Peralta's been more missed than hit. How much longer, in your opinion, sir, does this unit have?
I think they're going to give guys like Miguel Rojas, who's dealt with injuries early on, they're going to give him more time to try to figure things out. And they know they're not delusional when it comes to what he can do at the plate. They're not expecting. That was the fan base that expected maybe he can hit 265 like he did in 2021. Maybe he can get off to that start that he had in 2020.
I really want you to clown on Noah when he gets back from his vacation.
For some reason, that one slipped my mind. I didn't realize that he was that high.
Yeah. Well, he was like, he's going to hit better than 100 WRC plus, which that would have been a Hall of Fame year for Miggy Rowe in a way.
Yeah,
so
he's
shout
never
out
done that
Noah Cameras. Follow him at him.
And his baseball acumen will never be questioned from this man. But I think, sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong. And it's always great to be optimistic. But, yeah, if you look at Miguel Rojas, his expected batting average sits at 197. That's not going to get it done. But the issue isn't what he's not doing at the plate. The issue is he's playing a role that he wasn't expected to play. If he's putting up some numbers that were similar to Hanser Alberto's with better defense and positional versatility, you can feel okay about that. And also, too, you gave him that extension, okay? He's going to be on this team. You traded Jacob Amaya for Miggy Rowe. He's also popular in the clubhouse. He also got pretty big base hit in the Phillies series, too. So it's not like he's incapable of going out there and putting his bat on the ball and making good things happen. Also, too, you have to talk about defense. And I know some people don't love defensive metrics, and they're not easy to point to when it comes to batting average and offensive productivity, but still, he is above average with the glove in the 71st percentile and outs above average. He isn't as good as he's been in years past, but with guys getting injured, with guys potentially going down, he still provides value as one of the rare guys. I mean, you're talking about almost 800 players in this league. Not a lot of them can play shortstop at an above average level. And so when you have that in your bag, you can absolutely provide value. So I think they're still going to give him time. I think Trace Thompson is the one that I'm looking at that's going to be the first to walk the plank, though.
Quickly on Miggy Rowe, he's also in like some sort of weird he's in a weird space because he was a starting shortstop. He went down with an injury. He came back. He's kind of not the starting shortstop, but he's also not the top utility guy. He's just sort of floating right now, and I think the inconsistent playing time and the lack of a true role is not it's not conducive to him producing at the moment. He will figure out something. He's not going to be a great hitter, but if he can be productive in some way, I would like to see him shorten up the swing. I don't need you to hit 220 with a whopping 6 homers. I'd rather you hit 270 with 2 homers and everybody's happier. Get on base, do something useful. Trace, borrowed time and a half. This guy, great story. Thanks for all the help. You don't fit the team. You're not doing what it needs. And this is a team that he is paid. He is on the roster to hit left-handed pitching. The Dodgers are the worst team in baseball, I think, still against left-handed pitching. It's not working. You got to, they don't have a natural fix or solution elsewhere, because even if you do DFA Trace, then it's Busch, and Busch is, again, like we were talking about earlier, is a left-handed batter, so that doesn't quite help the situation. Even if he's probably a more, competent at bat against lefties than Trace Thompson is at the moment. But if you don't have a natural solution, you're kind of stuck with him. He is still productive enough against right-handed pitching, but he's not getting those opportunities. But if you're looking to make an immediate change to hopefully boost this roster and boost the bench, which has been atrocious so far this season offensively, Trace is the first guy you got to try on.
Yeah, he's definitely the guy that you look at and you say, hey, you were supposed to be a specialist and you just can't do what we were hoping you could do. And that's what surprises me so much, is because every single metric, whether it be basic ones or advanced ones, pointed to some serious regression to the mean. Everyone in the baseball world really knew that he was going to fall off. His BABIP was the highest in the league. He was punishing mistakes. But the issue I have is he just can't catch up to big league pitching. I mean, his swing is not conducive to success at this level. And it's not a nice thing to see, because you're starting to see frustration set in. Defensively, he's not terrible. He's had some plays that I think kind of look glaring, but still overall he's been solid defensively. But yeah, Dodgers dead last in all of Major League Baseball against southpaws, hitting 191. If you can't get it done, they have to find some other options. And I think Trace Thompson's going to be that guy that's going to definitely get DFA'd at some point, unless he turns it around. But there's nothing that I've seen so far this season that leads me to believe that that's going to happen, or that he's going to hit with any consistency. Sometimes you have to make difficult decisions, and unfortunately, Trace Thompson getting the heave-ho is probably going to be one of the first ones this year.
Within a week? What do you think?
I mean, one thing, just kind of being that Dodgers clubhouse, there's just so much camaraderie. It's such a veteran-laden group that it's going to be a blow to this clubhouse whenever that decision is made. And I think, too, Clint, I mean, there's not really any obvious options. I mean, Johnny DeLuca, AA. Andy Pages, AA. They're on the 40-man roster, but yeah, maybe they get called up to AAA and they can show some progress. But right now, there's really no one you can turn to, and that's why I said, what did I say before the season started? I said trade Trace Thompson while his value is what it is. I'm not trying to take a victory lap on that, but hey, I identified, and also too, I just think they needed some more infield optionality, some versatility. So yeah,
you can kind of replace him with Chris Taylor on the roster in a way, move him back into the outfield, which was the initial plan anyways, and then Mookie is sort of the backup shortstop if you want to go that route.
I think that's a great point, because Chris Taylor has turned things around slowly but surely. You're seeing hard contact. You're seeing his swing really starting to sync up, and has such a better rhythm at the plate. He's cutting down on the strikeouts. But also, too, I think the domino effect of that, the ripple effect of that is, I think if you gave Miguel Rojas that role where you're saying you are going to go back to getting 80% of the reps at shortstop, I think that helps his confidence. I think that gives him a position and a defined role on this team. And like you said, I mean, I don't know why Rojas swings such a heavy bat and has such a big swing when he doesn't need to, but let's not forget, we're just a few years removed from having the pitcher bat, okay? You don't need your shortstop to hit 300 and be an offensive weapon. I mean, you can't get by.
He would not be as big of a glaring issue if everybody else on the bench was not doing or wasn't struggling the way they are, or so much more of the bench struggling the way they are. But you can't have those two dudes. Plus, I mean, David Peralta is essentially a starter, but I don't know if it's a bad luck thing for him. I know you're the guy who brings your facts to the fight, so I don't know what the expected numbers are and all the BS analytics that Blake Snell doesn't understand. I don't know what the expectation is based on his batted ball profile, but what I'm seeing is a dude with a very long swing that can't get around on a fastball right now.
And that's exactly what it is. And all of his expected numbers, they don't point to anything that says, hey, things are going to turn around. And I know within the organization, they do consider those factors. And he just looks overmatched on so many at-bats. And when he's not swinging at missing at fastballs down the middle, fastballs up in the zone, they're really trying to crowd him and go in on the hands against him. And he's just out in front of breaking balls. So I think there's a mental component in play. And I think just in general, just that swing, it does not play up. And I think last year, he just snuck up on a lot of pitchers, where now there is an attack plan against Trace Thompson. We've seen it again and again and again in this league. When hitters come up out of nowhere and they have success, it usually takes the next year when pitchers and scouts really start to game plan for you. It's almost like when a one-hit wonder has a big hit and they're chasing that next big single, but they can't get it. And Trace can't get a single right now.
Yeah. Ron Jerica, as we bring the comments back in here, guys, says Trace hasn't done nothing. Great way of saying it. Since his 3-homer game, but struck out every time. I don't know about every time, but he's not putting
almost
together
50% of the time.
Yeah, he's not putting together quality at bats. And Dave Roberts during the last homestand, when you asked Dave about him, about Trace Thompson, and then media stole your angle, and I'm not gonna say stole. They helped expand on the Trace Thompson angle, and Dave was saying like, yeah, I think there is. This is absolutely mentally weighing on him, and you're not seeing. Trace Thompson knows I am supposed to be good against left-handed pitching. I mean, you talked to him during spring training, you got that vibe from him. It's like man, like a left-handed pitcher don't want me, man. It's like he's not.
No, I know.
He's very much trying. It's not for a lack of effort. But at some point you get so much in your own head.
Yeah.
It's like at some point you just want somebody to say good job or get some sort of acknowledgement.
That definitely struck me during that interview when I asked him about it.
Appreciate you for trying.
And he was kind of tuning me out, giving your kind of cliche answers, and I appreciate that. All that sounds great. But when I brought up left-handed pitching, he just looked at me like, I can hit lefties. I know I can hit lefties. And you could just see something turn on and a little self-doubt creeped in. So, hey, hopefully this isn't it for Trace Thompson. Hopefully more of a change of scenery, a different role. But, hey, it's not over yet. I would be ecstatic to see him go on a run. But like I said, I kind of trust my eyes on what I've seen so far. And also, too, I got to give you some credit because you were trying to take some heat after that 3-home run game. And what'd you say? You said, hold on. Wait a second. Be patient. He's not the second coming of Mark McGwire at this point. Okay, so yeah, and look, no one wants to see these players fail. No one does.
Absolutely
no one does.
not. Great. That's 100% agree with you, as Doug McCain would say. Everything you're saying there. BC says last versus lefties out of 30 teams, embarrassing. And this, I mean, it's been a long running problem for this organization. They struggle against left-handed pitching. They can't quite put the pieces together to hit well against them, but they try. They've definitely tried. When you get Mookie struggling versus lefties too, you don't expect that. One of the better hitting players versus lefties on the team is Freddie Freeman, left-handed batter. But other than that, CT hasn't really done it, and I think left-handed pitching has attacked the Dodgers in a way where everything is, it's coming from the left side and it's pounding in on right-handed hitters. And the swings are so long, especially in the launch angle era, if we're going to still call it that, which I don't think people call it that anymore. But the swings are so long, you're swinging over it, or you're tapping out, or you're popping up because you're getting jam shots in there. But anyway, I don't know. Robert Wilson says, blame Roberts for being in first place. I know we complain a lot for a team in first place and third best record, I think, in the National League at the moment. 3 games behind the Atlanta Bravos.
You should have seen after the postgame show Saturday, everyone wanted Danny Lehman to be the new head coach. They wanted to announce it right then and there. The Lehman era had started.
That sounds about right. Michael McCafferty says, great name. That's a firm name. Michael McCafferty says, Freddie needs to run a hitting clinic. Hey, let me tell you, white folks love it. Ron says Ron is going in on Rojas for sure. Not even at the Mendoza line. A few Mendoza line drops in here. All right, well let's get into the fun stuff. This is I set it up for you because this is the man. This is the legend of Dodger baseball. This is the guy who loves talking about the rumor meters,
Los Angeles,
the sniffing Dodger dogs or whatever it is, eating corn the long way or Dodger dogs the long way, whatever it may be. But we got to talk a little bit about what Andrew Friedman can do to improve this bench. Is it a signing? As we saw today, Franmil Reyes got the heave-ho. He was DFA'd. So I saw somebody on Twitter ask us, like, hey, is this somebody the Dodgers should go after? I forgot who asked, so apologies. Or is there a trade angle? And, of course, if you guys didn't see, we dropped a great interview over the weekend with ESPN's Buster Olney. So do subscribe, youtube.com/DodgerNationTV. Hit the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, do all those things. It really helps us out. But Buster doesn't think it's going to be a very active trade deadline. So do you need to do what Andrew loves to do and find these scrap heap pieces in the season? And I don't know, give me your thoughts on all those words I said.
No, yeah, I think what they're going to do first is they're going to evaluate talent. And that's what he said after Gavin Lux went down is the first 2 weeks. What did Andrew Friedman say? He said, we are in the evaluation process. We're looking around the league, seeing if there's some options, seeing if there's some names that make sense. And then, look, if it gets towards the deadline and a name like a Joey Gallo or someone like that that has upside, that has been good in the past, that maybe you think you can fix, maybe you consider bringing a guy like that. But I think the better thing to do, the better option to do is if you don't think that Miguel Rojas can be productive, if you are not high on the idea of having Mookie Betts play shortstop, is you trade for a shortstop potentially, and then you send guys to the bench and you try to do it that way. You try to add quality in reverse. I think that really makes a lot of sense because the reality is most Dodger prospects are valuable not only to this organization but to teams around the league. And if you're going to part ways for a prospect, even if it is for a bench piece or someone like that, I've seen people throw out names like Gleyber Torres. And Gleyber Torres, a right-handed bat, he makes sense in some different ways, but still I think this team, they are not going to make a move unless it's for someone that is an absolute star that they could get at a steal price that has years of arbitration, that is under contract, because we know that the goal heading into the season was to cut salary, not add salary, because of the golden goose that's available. And I'm not going to mention him because I'm going to challenge myself not to mention him. And that's why I think, look, the Brewers.
It's the no-hate challenge.
This is where the no-hate challenge. Yeah, okay. So the Brewers, they've lost 6 in a row, right? They're starting to slide a little bit.
They're still atop the wild card.
They're still atop the wild card, but 6 in a row. I mean, hey, you lose 9 in a row, and you win this series, and you really step on their throat this series. If you're the Dodgers, you really add to that.
You're playing right now. The Dodgers aren't even playing for their record, but they're playing to crush them to get Willy Adames.
It's
and
always
Corbin
about
Burns.
that. I'm saying that's my mindset is how can I defeat the Brewers? How can I defeat the White Sox and try to increase that? Because the reality is Willy Adames makes more sense than Tim Anderson. Because Willy Adames, he's on a completely expiring contract, whereas Tim Anderson, he has that $14 million club option next year. So Willy Adames makes the most sense, actually having a better year defensively. I think he provides pop. So I still, if you're not going to move Mookie Betts to shortstop, and Miguel Rojas, who's literally 70% below league average offensively. So look, he's literally 76% below league average offensively. That isn't going to cut it. Jason Hayward, he's turned things around to an extent. If he's going to be a piece for the whole year, you'll see him in the outfield. I love what you said earlier about Chris Taylor, having him go back to the outfield primarily and then play some shortstop, and then he can fill in the infield when's needed. But I still think if you can get a shortstop on a 1-year deal, I think that solves a lot. And I think that is the route that I'm going to go. But there's going to be names that'll emerge. But will the Dodgers kind of go that route? I think it's possible. I think they're going to look for a veteran. One name that I was talking about a few weeks ago on my show was Andrew McCutchen, because Andrew McCutchen, he's on a $5 million expiring contract. Yes, the Pirates have been the surprise team to start things in the National League, but there could be this narrative where, hey, let's let a guy go and chase a World Series for one more time. He's already came back here and did the whole hurrah, the whole farewell in Pittsburgh.
Didn't he get like his 3,000th hit or something? He got some sort of record going back home to Milwaukee, and that was fun and all that. Milwaukee. But Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh,
makes sense to.
I thought maybe he lived in Milwaukee, but he played in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
That's what I was like. Damn, bro, he's from Milwaukee.
To be fair,
what's up.
That's exactly
aren't those teams basically the same team though? It's just one has been to the playoffs more in recent memory.
They're pretty close.
They got more lucky.
And everyone says that PNC is the best park ever. But yeah, I mean, if you look at this year alone, McCutchen, a 976 OPS versus lefties. I really would love the idea of that. But the reality in all of this is what Buster told us is you're not going to see these big names available. So you're going to have to look at the margins. And even on those pieces, because there's the competition with the expanded postseason, you are going to have to play expensive prices just to try to get those pieces. So you are going to have to overpay. So if you're going to do that, one, you better feel really good about your chances of winning the World Series. You better think that this is a team that you want to go all in with. And if that's the case, I do think they need to add another bat that can hit against lefties.
Yeah, I like the McCutchen idea and the idea of Kutch essentially would be replacing Trace Thompson. So you just have a less good feeling right-handed batter out there. But also at this point, he's kind of more DH. That does play a bit of a factor because you did sign a dude to a decent enough deal to be your DH, assuming he's going to be healthy for most of the year. But I like Kutch, and I do. I know you have something in a second, but I wanted to button this up, and then we'll get into the week ahead, depending on whatever you have. But you mentioned with Trace, you're talking about the clubhouse chemistry. You start pulling out a number of pieces. You wonder what that does do to an organization. It's like, yeah, we could hyperanalyze and look at all of the issues on the fringes, but it's still a team that's winning right now. They're winning at a pretty high clip. So it's like, do you dump Trace for the sake of getting better in the long run, but at the risk of damaging what they have going right now? And he's not the most vocal dude, but he is an important part of that clubhouse.
Yeah, I think you don't want to pull the plug too early, but I think if you're the Dodgers, you think of it as, can he turn things around? And I think for his teammates, as much as you respect him, do you really want to see a guy that you love being around, go up there and strike out two or three times a game? Do you want to see his career go that route? And also, to your point, he definitely is respecting that clubhouse, but it's not like he's a Jason Hayward, in my opinion, who's not only a good player, but also a vocal leader who's holding guys accountable, keeping guys in check. I think for me, it's more, hey, we all respect this guy. We know his story, making it back to the bigs, him having success. But yeah, I think you definitely have to have some perspective in saying, hey, it's not like this team is a last place team, right? It's not like this team has gone off to a slow start. I mean, yes, they did get off to a slow start, but they picked things up. So clearly they have enough talent to win games right now, as evidenced by the week they just had, but still they realize too, big picture, you do need a bat that you can rely upon coming off the bench. You do need a guy that can be more consistent against lefties. And the reality is they banked on the fact that Trace was going to hit lefties. And if you can't do that, the organization can point to this. Say, hey, Trace, we gave you an opportunity. We need a guy to fill this role on this team. So I do think the Dodgers will be without a Trace sooner than later.
There you have it. DJ producer Cody. I like it. I mean,
how am I supposed to follow up with that?
Sometimes you gotta go on after Elton John. I don't know. I had literally nothing.
Anyways, we have a super chat.
Let's go.
Doomsal $10 said, "What is the missing link? Is the coaching staff not doing a good job, or is it the hitters not listening to them?"
This isn't a coaching staff thing. Because again, some guys are doing well, other guys are not. I think it's a limit. To me, it's a limitation. I'm gonna go specifically with Trace Thompson, because apparently this is the Trace Thompson Power Hour. To me, it's a limitation of his swing. Well, I mean, I would honestly like to see him get some, and right now it's a little mental a lot of mental for him as well. It's this constant failure. You're gonna get into your own head. So I'd like to see him honestly rattle off 3 starts in a row versus right-handed pitching. He's gonna produce. It's what he does. His swing is better suited to a right-handed pitcher throwing away, or he's still going to be able to stay in and possibly jam shot something in to left field or fist something out to right, as I look deeply into the camera as I say the word fist. But the ball, the pitch coming in from a left-handed pitcher just goes right towards his back shoulder, and he's gonna get beat. He's gonna get beat.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his load, if you look at the way he uses his hands, he doesn't have the kind of swing they can catch up on balls up and in, and balls on the inner half of the plate. And look, we can get very complex about this, or we can keep it very simple. Look, the reality is that little white pill that's coming towards him, he can't take that wooden stick and get it to that pill and hit for contact and then get to first base.
Baseball for T-ballers.
That is the problem right now. And until he can do that with more regularity and consistency, he's not going to have a chance. And that's why, guys, hitting Major League pitching, there is nothing more difficult in the world of sports. It is the hardest thing. And you wouldn't talk about, basketball, this guy's missing shots, this guy can't dunk, this guy's defense is bad, why is he on the team? You can easily point to those things. It's the reality in baseball, just not being productive. But I definitely think they should fill this spot, and I think they should definitely explore some options.
Well, to the question, though, so Doom Sal asked, is there a missing link? Is it something about coaching? Is there anything that a different voice would help him? Is the absence of Brent Brown, who signed, who took a job with Milwaukee, with the Miami Marlins this offseason, is that different for him?
Look, I mean, you can't change the stripes on a tiger, right? You can't change
Meow.
things, right? And look, Jason Hayward, to his credit, he has quick twitch in his swing. He has the ability to make some adjustments more than a Trace Thompson, where it is such a long swing that even if you wanted to make those key adjustments, then what? Then you're sapping of his power possibly. Then you're taking away what he can do well. So it's really the push and pull. I think the pendulum has kind of swung to, well, what's the last ditch effort here? So is it on the coaches? I would say no, because the reality of all this stuff is all these hitters, they have their own agenda. They know what they're doing. They know their limitations. They know their struggle areas better than anyone. But I do think that I am a little surprised that his swing essentially has looked the same the entire year. You haven't seen very many adjustments. I mean, look at James Outman. He goes through that little mini slump. They kind of widen his stance a little bit, and he's able to have some more success. So I don't know if it's Cody Bellinger-itis or something like that, where you're not seeing any key adjustments. But I think that his swing is what it is, and he's just not seeing cement mixing breaking balls out over the plate that he's crushing like it's BP, right? I mean, guys, this is the most advanced scouting. This is the most advanced this game has ever been, and they're going to attack your problem areas, and he just hasn't made that adjustment. I do definitely want to see what he would look like if he did shorten that swing a little bit and just try to get his bat on the ball, but so far, he's not really getting the at-bats to really make that happen.
I'm sure he has a hell of a golf swing.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
350-yard drives there.
Yeah.
But appreciate the super chat, Doom Sal. Let's move on, guys. Let's go ahead and get into the week ahead and then get the hell out of here because the game is coming up in about 35 minutes. This is the week ahead. This is brought to you by the Dodgers Nation app. Talking about it all season already. You guys should have it on your phone. It's the #1 Dodgers app that you can get on your cellular device. It's free. There's details in there. There's game recaps and there's news and there's Doug. And there's podcasts, and there's a link to Gear Up LA. Imagine that. So, download Dodgers Nation app. Just search Dodgers on any of your app stores, and you're going to find it, and you're going to download it, and you're going to be happy. Let's do some predictions. Let's look ahead at 3 with the Brewers, of course, later in the week. 3 with the Padres. Do we remember how we did? We talked about it before the show. I don't remember what the predictions are, and you guys are usually better at that. So let's throw the comments back up, Cody. I don't remember what we said. I know I said 2-1 against San Diego. So I'm pretty sure I want to say I said 5-1 during the week, but I don't remember. So if you guys remember, help us out in the comments. But you have Gonsolin, Peralta tonight. Freddie Peralta, a guy they faced a few times. He's pitched well enough against L.A. Noah Syndergaard making his first start in a week and a half or so, going against the evil Eric Lauer. 2 left-handed starting pitchers the Dodgers will be facing in the series, by the way. Kershaw goes Wednesday versus Wade Miley. So predictions, let's pocket the predictions. What do we hope to see from this series? It's a great opportunity against left-handed pitching, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I want to see this team have success against Lauer. I want to see them have success against Miley. 2 lefties on the mound, so definitely want to see that. Also, I want to see Noah Syndergaard have a nice start. Now, I'm not looking for a perfect game. I'm not looking for a no-hitter.
Go all in.
It'd be great, but I also think it's... Look, hope
you have to push.
Optimism leads to delusion, right? I think we got to take baby steps with Syndergaard. And after reading that piece in the LA Times where he talks about having that mental block and he's unable to really go at max effort, he still thinks he has the high velocity in him. Well, the adjustment in his last start was throwing more of that curveball. So if you work that curveball in and you get that differential in there, maybe you can keep hitters on balance and continue to pound the zone. So with 8 days off, 8 days rest for Noah Syndergaard, I want to see him have a nice start because that is definitely something that is going to really paint the picture of this rotation moving forward because we talked about Trace Thompson this show. We might be spending a good amount of time on Syndergaard on the same topic if he has another rocky outing. So I want to see that. Also, Tony Gonsolin, who's pitched very well against the Brewers throughout his career. Very small sample size, but I think not a lot of people are talking about, hey, we just got an all-star pitcher back, right? We just got a guy who had a breakout season last year. I don't think it's getting enough pub. If he goes out there, has a really solid start, you're going to start to feel excited about Tony Gonsolin again. If you do that, you have 4 starters you're feeling really good about in this rotation in Julio, Kershaw, Dustin May, and Tony Gonsolin. So those are the big things for me, the 3 big things. I want to see a good start from Syndergaard. I want to see a good start from Tony Gonsolin. I want to see us hit lefties. Also, I want to see Freddie Freeman, a little bonus one. I want to see Freddie Freeman Get back to hitting in the clutch.
Yes.
Runners in scoring position.
Saw that on your Twitter.
Last year, he was Thompson all of Major League Baseball. A 391 average this year. He's like 140th in the league. So we know it's in there, Freddie. So I want to see some clutch base hits, some base knocks from Freddie franchise.
Great one here from Cobra Commander. Says, I want to see Syndergaard and Gratterall wrestle. That would be fun.
I want to see Clint go down the slide in Milwaukee.
Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. I was gonna go that route because I didn't really prepare for this segment, but I'm gonna steal, and before you even brought it up. So it's not really stealing because I thought of it before you said it. Tony Gonsolin, I think this is a very important start. We got to see him get out of the fourth, get out of the fifth inning. You got to see him pitch into the sixth inning by this point. He should the kid glove should be off by this. Now making his fourth start of the year, he's got to be built up to somewhere in the 90-95 pitch range. He's got to get 6 innings, allow a run, allow 2 runs, whatever it is. I just want to see length out of the Catman tonight in Milwaukee. Win one game against the left-handed pitching, like just absolutely tank Eric Lauer, who this team has struggled against over the years. Different looking team, still. There's just something about Eric Lauer and the Los Angeles Dodgers where it does not work. Beat him or beat Wade Miley. Just beat somebody. Beat him real good as long as they throw with their left arm. And what's a good third one? I don't have a good third one. I mean, I know we're doing 3.
What are you gonna fix? Why don't you fix someone? A good time for the Clint curse.
That's a good call. Let's continue the Mookie Betts run. I think he's gonna have a big series in Milwaukee. Dodgers usually hit very well in Milwaukee. I mean, we saw Gavin Lux get fixed for a bit there last year. Some home cooking for Luxie.
Fun fact: he's from Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Did you know the kid from Kenosha is from Wisconsin?
Gavin Lux.
Wisconsin.
Rhymes with mansion. T-Pain.
Or they should go out and sign Sean Green and see what he can do at like age 54 or whatever the hell he is. Drop another 5-hit 4-homer night there at the old Miller Park. And that's another thing. I want to see it called Miller Park again because why not?
It'll always be Miller Park to me.
It's not a thing. I'm pretty sure it's Miller Park to just about everybody. But
pretty close
those
too.
are things.
The Green happened in May 23rd. Right? It happened in May.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
2002.
What a day. What a time. What a time. But yeah, I love that. I love the fixing Mookie, continuing to build on what happened because he was actually 0 for 11 before that home run.
He opened the season, or he opened the month really good. Then he did that thing where he just kind of like, all right, I had a couple hits. I'm going to forget how to hit. And then I
want an explosion. I want a big Mookie month, a big Mookie magic month in May. But yeah, Tony Gonsolin, the big key. I want to see 2 walks or less. 2 walks or less. I mean, let's go no walks, ideally, for Tony Gonsolin. He talked about it after his last start. It's always about commanding the baseball for him, pounding the zone with strikes. And I'm really itching to see him start up in Milwaukee, really get this season going for him. Because like I said, this is a guy that's coming off a career year last year, has a lot of money to be made this year, can make as much as $3 million if he makes 24, 26 starts. So let's see him have a good start, and let's keep it rolling in Milwaukee. So, yeah, I'm going. You want me to start my prediction for the week?
I was going to say, give me that prediction. Do you want to do the whole? Let's do the whole week, because why not? Even though we're really bad at remembering the entire week. So
we got to get like a dry erase board or something.
Listen, man, it's tied up.
Okay, you're right.
Wow.
We have the official predictor.
Let's go. DJ producer Cody. What do you got? So we're doing the full week. 6 games. They're off on Thursday. Thank God.
I'll take 5-1 this week.
5-1.
I'm gonna need 2 out of 3. The 2 lefties in Milwaukee definitely scare me. As you point out, Lauer's had his way with this team, but also too that flight getaway day, late ESPN game in San Diego to Milwaukee. It could be a scheduling loss. Hopefully, the scheduling loss maybe leads to 1. So give me 5-1 for the week for your boys in blue, your Los Angeles Dodgers.
Fortitude. We're going 4-2 in this
this
week. They're going to lose 1 game in each series, and I hope it's only that because, like, deep down in the subcockle region, I feel like they're going to lose the series to the Padres. But I'm not going to put that bad juju out there. So 4-2, your Dodgers go. They're going to lose. They're going to win 2 games and win 1 game in each series. And that's the way the ball bounces. Cody, what's your prediction, bud?
I was thinking the same thing as you, Clint. I was going to go 4-2. They're going to drop a game from each
synergy.
Each series. They're going to drop a game.
Corporate bondage. Let's
I
go.
think they go 10-0 this week.
Michael Carrillo's got a 4-2. Mark Rocha's got a 4-2. So we got a couple of smart people in here. Ghost Cat 69, great name. He's got a 5-1 again. Also a good angle. Doom South says Dodgers sweep Milwaukee. BC is cheating here with a 4-2 or a 3-3. Really hope it's not 3-3. That would be tough to financially recover from. Rebecca says 5-1. Deborah Young says 2-1 for each series. So we got a 4-2 there. Osterberg, the king of YouTube, 4-2. Boomer Assassin, 4-2. Joe Mama says 5-1.
5-1. Hey, we got some
Joe
5-1ers in there. I feel like you're gonna be right with the 5-1. I was so waiting for you, by the way. I mean, for the 4-2, you're gonna be
Wow.
You're gonna be absolutely right. I was so waiting for you to
right.
say Trey's Thompson on the Clint Cures. The Clint Cure on that.
If he started against the right-hander,
Yeah.
sure. I honestly I can't hit for Ish right now, but I agree that I could probably I could put together a more competitive at bat against left-hander than I mean, it's an absolute lie. This guy's a professional athlete, and I am not. Let's hope we're right. DKM says 6-0 just to make myself better.
Yo,
And
white
Clayton
pill.
Lockhart. Yeah, we got the white pill, our one white pill in here so far. Clayton Lockhart says 5-1. So let's hope we are all right, gang. Let's hope that we can nail all of our predictions, even though all of us literally cannot. So that's about it. Find us on the internet, DodgersNation.com. Another great show, Doug. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, the pod god.
For letting me on your show. Letting me on your show. Subscribe to Blue Heaven or all of Dodgers Nation audio content. We are on podcasts. You can leave it up there. It's the same idea, you know. So do all that. We're on all the podcast medium and platforms and whatever they happen to be called. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/Dodgers Nation TV. Go back and like and comment and subscribe on every video you possibly can, because that helps us, I think, get all the way up the top in them YouTube algorithms. I am Real FRG on Twitter and Instagram. That guy is DMac_LA on the Twitter. On the Instagram, we are Dodgers Nation on Twitter and Instagram and on the Tic Tacs. Thank you for all your questions, your comments. Thank you guys for the super chats. As always, that really, really does mean a lot to us. Thank you for hanging with us, and we will see you on Friday. Oh, he's not here, so I can't. I was going to give him
He'll watch it later.
I was going to give. Hey, Noel, this is for you. Bye.